do you go to talk about the power required to continue to operate AI? Like, watching the Nvidia keynote, he spoke about pairing stacks and how each of the optic leads require 30 watts, and when they want to scale a server farm to 1 million stacks, each of those connections amounts to megawatts required. And you know, the power available right now from power stations for cities and towns cannot compete with the demands of data. And building new power infrastructures is something I was researching through a project I called IDA, the Artificial Intelligence Development Area, where it is self-sustaining and producing a demand for not just power but also water for cooling, and what can be done with water through desalination in the separation from salt and water. Hydrogen is produced, enabling that byproduct to be then producing hydrogen cells, and building hydrogen cell parks for these server parks that are going to exist everywhere to not just charge the server station, but also the robots that move around these places to keep them operating, and the scaling of robotics, automation, and the inference required for every element of our society is going to drive procurement processes that demand more power from more agents of technology, which will exist as not just individuals like myself, truly concerned about the water, the environment, the above and the below, the invasive species, the quality of water being the ultimate resource to all life on Earth, but also food production. Farming is becoming more and more technologically integrated. AI tractors and drones and, you know, weeders and seeders and the whole gambit. But, like, you know, zoom out on the world and see what's happening and realize the power required is all available for us here today, but we choose fossil fuels because it's tactile right now, but we touch water. So many of us know that water is life, but for the future, it is hydrogen energy to supply the progress until it completely crashes. Who knows? But I think we're a couple thousand years away from that point if we start making the shifts to sustainable and, you know, cyclical energy production and consumption in, you know, very, very simple ways. If we would just apply our resources, knowing what we know now, what would we do? The whole idea came from just my life. You know, I work on the water, I have to get stuff done, and I also travel, and I also ask questions, and I also read books, and I also met Jacques Fresco, a man, a legend, an engineer, a technologically very, very futurist sort of thinker, you know, may he rest in peace, planted the seed within me for a resource-based economy where we understand so much about what works and what doesn't, and planned obsolescence being wasteful to the nth degree. We have to move our society, our species away from that, our environment, our planet away from that planned obsolescence crap and look at what we're actually choosing to do on this planet and determine what should be the consequences. We can be proactive about this. I try and stay in my niche, I try and stay focused, but I see the benefit for all, as Nvidia does see the benefit for all if they produce these systems, these pieces of equipment, and distribute to all the computer distributors and manufacturers to leverage the participation, the crowd participation, the global supply chain that, you know, is blocked by borders in so many different directions, when there are smart people in places that just don't have access. They don't have the procurement supply chain to fully light up their values and their ideas and their directives and their, you know, abilities to push us forward to a fully sustainable society and enable us to, like, settle down the competition, settle down the capitalism. Let's get back to creating. Let's get back to, you know, making babies. Hey, there's an idea. So many people are scared about where the world is going, but, like, if we took a firm stance on what we want, how we're going to get it, and what it's going to provide for us in the future, literally just using AI, you know, to ask these really important questions, as I've been doing for a number of years to this point. I won't stop. I'm not going to stop. I'm thinking 1,000 people at a time, and that scales up to millions very easily when you start asking these questions. How can I be of service to more people? How does what I do and what I've learned and my knowledge become a inference for others' projects and businesses and industries and environments and cultures? How do I help the world while I'm here traveling it, walking it, alone or with everyone at the same time, spinning on a rock through space in the same direction at the same speed? Together, we're stronger. And yeah, it's more than drive thoughts. See you on the water, eh?